welcome. I hope you're enjoying this very horribly cursed image. As you can see, I found a way to make Kirby less cute, which was previously not thought possible. But all he had to do, turns out, was copy me and get the ability to. He would do nothing if he copied me. He would just sit there and rot. Hi, welcome to a very happy stream, as you can tell. We're going to be playing Kirby's Dream Land 3 tonight. A game that I could not even find a logo for or an image for, because I don't think this is... I think this one kind of went a little unsung, unfortunately, but it's actually my favorite, so let's get right into it. As you can see, still using the Wii U because it's just easier and I had it on here, so why the hell not? I can't even do Switch games at the moment because all I have controller-wise for that system are Joy-Cons, and I sent one of them out finally because Nintendo's doing the free, Joy-Con drift stick fix thing. But as far as I know, that's just lost somewhere in limbo because that was 2 weeks ago and I have not heard back anything yet. So I'm almost limited to the Wii U for now, which is very strange. But at least I have a good amount of things on here, I guess. Alright, let's do it. So yeah, this is, as I said, my favorite Kirby game. And I feel like I rarely ever hear anyone talk about this one, even though it's a major staple of the series, you know? This isn't like a little spin-off or anything. This was a major title, but I think, you know, because this was 1997 that this came out. And, you know, the N64 had been out about a year by this point, so as with any, I guess, previous console, when a new console is out, it kind of gets thrown by the wayside, and it's like, why even bother developing new games for it, because everybody's going to be moving on to the next system. But and you know what? I mentioned when I was streaming Donkey Kong Country that I said when I was younger, didn't have a lot of experience with Donkey Kong Country 3. I only rented it a couple times because, like I said, by that time the N64 was out, and there was almost no need to really keep buying Super Nintendo games. So I never bothered with Donkey Kong Country 3 that much. Yet, I own this, which came out a year later than Donkey Kong Country 3, so maybe it was just preference at the time. Always nice to get more use out of the Wii U. It is. I feel bad for this console. I really do. It had a good library, and, you know, I understand the marketing mistakes and just some of the odd decisions, but I mean, why do you think they're porting over so many things to the Switch? It had good games. And unlike the Switch, it has a virtual console, so I can in fact play things like this in a more convenient manner. I genuinely loved the Wii U. even though the Switch now kind of almost makes it entirely obsolete, but I love all my old consoles. I have everything, except a Virtual Boy. And I wouldn't mind having a Virtual Boy, even though I would probably never play it. Just for, you know, collection purposes. But I do have all the old consoles. I like going back to them and playing them. And yes, there is, like, obviously the convenience of being able to play them on later consoles. You know, without having to hook up, or at least, like, constantly changing systems and stuff. But sometimes I like to go back and play the old consoles just for the novelty of it. Like, I had, you know, back in April was the Game Boy's 30th anniversary, and that just kind of made me want to go back and get my old Game Boy and play all my Game Boy games on that, even though 3DS, I own a lot of stuff on 3DS Virtual Console, and it has rendered my Game Boys almost entirely useless. But, and even when I would go back to play old Game Boy games, it would be on the SP because of the backlight. So, you know, the classic Game Boys didn't get much use for a long time, but for some reason the 30th anniversary just made me really nostalgic, and I went back and played a bunch of shit on that. It won't become entirely obsolete until 3D World is ported. Yes, I'm waiting for that, and I was kind of surprised that we didn't get, like, an announcement of that at E3, just to, like, be... Not to come out around that time, because, you know, Mario Maker was coming out later that month, and that was the big thing. But just to, like, announce that in tandem with Mario Maker 2, since 3D World is a style in Mario Maker 2, would have been good cross-promotion. I think there's a lot of good games on the Wii U that people probably missed out on, because they were just like, you know, maybe they're not huge Nintendo fans and just kind of play whatever, and maybe they would have liked to have played some of these, but just couldn't justify owning a Wii U, which I understand. So I hope, you know, the Switch has probably turned, like, a lot more people onto, say, Splatoon. What else? I know there's, you know, been so many ports already. I wouldn't say New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is exactly one of the more important ones, but not that I think that's a bad game either. I love that game, but not really a standout title. Not really the title they should have launched with, especially since New Super Mario Bros. 2 came out a couple months before. But it's whatever. I would love to see 3D World ported to the Switch, because that is a fantastic game. And I don't think 3D Land and 3D World get enough credit, because a lot of people call them not real 3D Mario games, because they want more of the style of, like, 64 and Sunshine and Galaxy and Odyssey, but I love that game. I think there might be some hurdles in porting it, because, like, there were some, you know, there were some courses in that game that involve, like, touching and blowing, and you can touch on the Switch, obviously, if you're in handheld mode. You can't do the microphone stuff at all. So there's just, like, levels that they're either going to have to rework or eliminate entirely, which would be interesting to see. But all in all, it can be done. It can be played with just, you know, buttons and control stick, or even a D-pad. But yeah, the Wii U is proving to be handy even after its lifetime for me, just because of the whole streaming thing. Just being easier to connect with an HDMI-based system, and I am going to get, you know, the little converter thing that I need for my TV to make the Super Nintendo work properly. Excuse me while I focus my attention on this minigame. Not that this is one of the harder ones. Yeah, but, you know, thankfully I do have a decent amount of stuff on the Wii U that I can, you know, kind of just go through that library at first. It's just easier. Less technology to worry about early on in these, streams. Like, I'm so afraid that I'm going to stream something on, like, the N64, or if I get to the SNES, or, you know, any older system I'm going to attempt to do, and something is going to go horribly wrong. Most of that stuff they already got around in the Captain Toad port. Yes, I forgot about Captain Toad. Probably finding something to completely replace the whole stamp system is the toughest part. Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot, like, I didn't even think of that, because, like, stamps were, like, a major collectible, and there would be, like, no use for them. Also, they'll probably add Toadette. They probably would. Since she is now kind of, like, retroactively added to 3D World via Mario Maker 2. I wouldn't want her, you know, replacing Princess Peach. I think it's great that Peach... I think it was great that the lineup for 3D World was that of Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 2, plus Rosalina. Spoiler alert. I would love to. I mean, that was a great game in the sense that it wasn't your standard. Like, it was still like, oh, we got to go beat Bowser, but it wasn't Bowser has kidnapped. I don't think I want that. It wasn't Bowser has kidnapped Princess Peach, so Princess Peach got to come along for the ride. I thought that was cool. It was good for 4 players because nobody wants to play as Blue Toad and Yellow Toad. I don't want either of these guys. I don't use the animal friends that much in this. Until they're, like, necessary. I mean, sometimes. It depends. And I can never make a decision on who I want unless I know... Well, I do know how the levels are. I've played this game 100 times, but... I do love this style of Kirby game more than... I think the Kirby series is split into 2 styles, and we have... I feel like Dreamland 2, Dreamland 3, and Kirby 64 were all kind of their own thing, and then the rest of the Kirby games have been another thing, in the sense that these 3 games... Dreamland 2, Dreamland 3, and Kirby 64, which feels like a Dreamland 4. We're all... You don't have many copy abilities, but you have different ways to enhance them. In this case, you have the animal friends who, you know, while you're riding them, whatever copy ability you have is, you know, slightly changed. And then obviously Kirby 64 had like the combination item system. But again, it was just like, I think this game has like 8 abilities compared to like, what do like the more recent Kirby games have? Like 25, 30 abilities? And in these games, there's no like multiple inputs for the abilities. Like, this is all I can do with the fire. Whereas in, like, you know, Kirby Superstar and, like, Return to Dreamland and the following games after that, it was all a lot of, almost like Smash Brothers, in the sense that it's, like, different inputs with the controller, or, like, if you attacked while running, stuff like that would give you a different, attack. So there would be multiple ways to use fire, for instance. You know, based on what you did with the control pad, as opposed to this, where you can only just burn like that. The trade-off being that you can enhance it with the animal friend. Cat plus broom is my favorite combo. Trying to remember which one that is. Is that the one where, he, like, Nago, like, wipes the floor with Kirby and you just kind of, like, skid along? I believe that's it, because that is a very good one. You'll see later on, like, certain ability plus certain friend combinations will be necessary into getting 100%. Every level has a little task that needs to be completed. And, you know, based on the level in the world, they're kind of almost similar between each world. Like, the first level in each world, you play a mini-game to get a, to get the little heart star at the end of the level. Or like in the, I guess, is this the 4th course in the world, or the, I already forget. You will have to bring one of the animal friends to the end of the course. Some courses you have to collect certain things. Three definitely has the best final stage unlock requirement. Yeah, I like the, because like it was like an up from Dreamland 2. Where it was just, you just had to collect one thing in the entire world. And now this one is, you're doing a task to collect something in every single level. And then Kirby 64 is just find 3 shards in every level. Which is usually just, they're kind of around, or there might be a little task you have to complete. Or you just need a certain, like, ability or combination of abilities to, you know, blow up like a wall or something to get to the shard. Plus, Kirby 64, unfortunately, did not have very many levels. Still a very good game. I think is probably my second favorite Kirby game after this one. They just, these two, Kirby 64 and this one, just had a certain feel about them that I love. And I guess a lot of it is probably nostalgia, but I mean, obviously the aesthetic is, you know, like pastels and crayon drawings. And I believe, well, my my favorite of the Kirby composers is Jun Ishikawa. And he did... I believe he did this entire soundtrack, and he did the entire Superstar soundtrack. There's usually at least 2 composers on every Kirby game. And it's usually him, the other guy is Hirokazu Ando, I believe, is the other one. And usually I can pick out who does what, rather, in like the new games. I think Jun Ishikawa has a really distinct style, and I really love it. How have you been? How are the streams going? I'm good, thank you. Streams are going well, I guess. They're happening. With minimal issue for the most part. It's not anything too major at this point, so it's not much to write home about. I'm literally just, you know, playing old games, turning my brain off, and turning my mouth on. And occasionally peeking over into chat to talk to somebody. It's been fun. I like it. A lot of Kirby 3 music comes back in the later games with good reason. Yeah, before I started the stream, I played, what I've been doing for my, like, starting soon screens is because I don't know what music I'm allowed to play on Twitch. I've just been using music that exists in other video games. So what I've been trying to do is finding a song from the game I'm playing that was reused in a different game. For instance, when I played Mario World, I had like a Smash Brothers remix, and I had like the Hytale Falls Galaxy music from Mario Galaxy 2. When I started this one, this won't be in the VOD, but I used they reuse a song in Kirby Squeak Squad, and it's arranged a bit. And I used the Kirby 64 version of this song. So it's been kind of a game of trying to figure out, like, what songs related to the game can I find that are also within other games. Because I don't know, like, obviously, video game remixes are plentiful on the internet. But I don't know what's fair game and what's not, so I'm a little worried to use certain ones. And of course, you know, I would shout out to the artist. But I just don't want to step on any toes. I don't want to... I don't know how the Twitch mute thing is gonna go. We'll just have to try it and find out someday. I'll just have to play like a copyrighted song on stream and just see how it goes for future reference. And then if like half of my talking gets muted in the process, then it'll just have been a learning experience. Yeah, they blank it out during the VODs. My only worry is that their system for doing that, for muting the VODs, is not always correct. Like, I've seen other people, like, it'll mute, like, the second half, like, the song will still play until halfway through, and then you'll get no sound, and then the song will be done, and there will still be no sound for, like, 3 minutes. So it just kind of messes things up. I guess if worse comes to worse, I believe I have the option to... I haven't been doing this just for the sake of, you know, storage and everything, but I do have the option to save these streams natively to my computer without having to worry about it going through Twitch. So if something did happen, then I would have, like, the raw file. I just don't know. I haven't tried that yet, and I don't know if that is going to be so intensive of a process that it causes the stream to suffer. Again, something we may just have to try and find out. Because I would like to, like, lead in with, and I said this last time because, somebody said, and I agree, that they wanted, their streaming to be like a radio show, and that's kind of what I want to have going on. And down to playing the music. And I would like to lead in on, you know, the starting soon screen with, you know, a song that I like outside of, you know, video games. A song that is in fact owned by a record label. And have, like, kind of a DJ thing going on, and, you know, start up, have the song play, talk about the, you know, say who the song and the artist was, talk about it for a bit, and then get the stream going. Just as, like, a little extra thing, because, like, you know, maybe that would introduce people to some of the music that I enjoy. What music do you like? Real Big Fish intro. Yeah, I like ska a lot because, I mean, I would like to think I have a pretty varied library going on. Obviously I grew up listening to a lot of, like, classic rock, which at the time meant, like, 80s, 70s, 60s. So a lot of just, like, rock from those eras. 80s was definitely my favorite era of rock. But I grew up, you know, the late 90s. I grew up hearing ska in a lot of places, but never knew what it was. Never knew who any of these bands were. Because I didn't really hear it on the radio so much as I would just hear them, like, on TV or, like, in commercials. Nickelodeon used a lot of ska in shows and stuff. Kablam, for instance, if you remember that show, used music by the Toasters for their intro and outro. Here's a deep cut. If you remember 100 Good Deeds for Eddie McDowd, their title theme was by the Hippos. But I did not know a lot of those bands until much later on. Not much later on, but it feels like much later on because childhood, to me, feels like it lasted so long, and now it feels like adulthood is blasting by in an instant. But, yeah, late 90s, heard a lot of that. And then in the early 2000s, a friend of mine introduced my brother and I to the Aquabats. Really, I think my brother had it first, or was like, he was turned on to it first, and then I heard it, and I enjoyed it, and I was like, this is that music I like, that I remember hearing. What is that? And I asked the friend who turned him on to it, and he's like, that's ska. So that's what opened the doorway for me because by that time it was like, I finally had a computer, I had internet access, I could search for shit. So now I had something to go by. What's this ska stuff that I've been hearing? And that's how I just started finding all the different bands. So yeah, started with the Aquabats, then into like Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, Slow Gherkin, the Toasters, as I said, Planet Smashers. I could turn this into just ska band naming time, but yeah, so like a lot of like my late 90s childhood, when I was about 10 years old, was accompanied by ska without knowing it. And then my early teens and, well, my teens entirely was then accompanied by ska, finding it on my own accord. Excuse me. Tell Miche said hello, going to play another game of League of Legends. No problem, can do. I'll tell him you stopped by. He's at a curling function right now. My brother does, he plays curling. And they're having some sort of meeting tonight, and they're moving to a new arena tomorrow, I believe. So that's where he is right now. But I will tell him, Josh, that you stopped by and said hello. I just realized the chat is composed of 2 people named Josh right now. This is my favorite song in all of Kirby. This song is beautiful. Previous stage, close second for, you know, this game. If you want to do like top 5 tracks in this game, that would be second, this would be first. But I think this is my favorite in the entire franchise. As I hope the is the game volume loud enough, because it keeps, you know, it varies game to game, and I'm like trying to get an eye for like what I look at like the mixer here, and I'm like, is this an appropriate level of audio versus my mic audio? I think it should be alright, but and this song, you know, speaking of Kirby songs that came back, I don't think this one has. But it's always nice in, like, the newer Kirby games, to hear some of the tracks that, were absent from many games and didn't feel like a recurring theme. Like, I think Robobot, Planet Robobot, incorporated like the factory theme from Kirby 64, and I heard that, and like that was awesome to have it back. Pardon me again for being in deep brain thinking mode. Again, not one of the harder minigames, but the next few worlds get kinda have trouble with them, and you'll see why. It's good, can hear you okay, and can still hear the Kirby tunes. Great. Thank you. I'm also still trying to figure out, I thought I had fixed it. There is a slight latency, between my mic audio and then the game video and audio. In that you will hear me like a split second before something actually happens. And with every stream I keep trying to fix the, like adjust the milliseconds of latency. And I had done a test recording at one point. I just put on like Mario Maker, and I was just like making noise every time I would jump, and then adjusting the milliseconds until I got it right down to where I was saying jump, and the video was he was jumping at the same time. But then I go back and I watch like the previous couple streams, and the latency's still there, so. Plus, the mic also may... I have my TV very low, but due to the way I'm set up, which is very haphazard, I should take a picture of this shit sometime so you see what kind of operation I got going on here. You know what? I gotta keep him. My TV is kind of close, so I have the volume down enough that I can hear. Not that it's too necessary for me to hear, but for certain things, especially like higher pitched or loud noises, if I'm not talking over it, you may hear me like collect an item a split second before it actually happens. So I'm still working to adjust that audio latency, which is not a... It's not that big of a deal, it just kind of annoys me when I watch it back. It doesn't need to be 100% accurate, but like I don't really want the echo of the game if it does get picked up through the mic. But B, I may also say something as I do it, and it won't quite be lined up, but I know this is very interesting topic of conversation. I know everyone is here for behind the scenes how-to. Because if anybody's going to teach you how to stream, I'm the one you gotta listen to. I've been around this streaming block a few times. No, streaming is honestly kind of a nightmare. It's like fun to do once you get it going, but it's a nightmare to get going properly. And just deal with it as a show, as a production. Which again, I use that term very loosely. But it's content, and the internet sure does love content. I feel like I feel like I need to be doing this just for the sake of having something to exist from me. You know, something that I can put my name on and say, yes, this is a thing that I did. in terms of creating things, since I have not made a cartoon in, what, 10 years now? I believe it has been 10 years, at least. That's upsetting. I mean, I just want to make stuff. And this is a thing that is, like... It's not easy, but it's... Because it's more instant, it's not something that you're working on for, like, months to make exist. You just record it, and it happens, and it's up. So it's nice to be able to just have this as, like, you know, I would love to be animating, making a cartoon, doing a comic, doing something cartoon related. But I would like to have this still on the side as a thing to keep the flow of content going. God, I hate the word content, but once you get it working the first time, it usually keeps working. Usually. Yeah. I feel like it's going to be varied system to system, and I've pretty much stuck to... Well, I have stuck to just the Wii U and the Switch this entire time, which I can use the exact same settings for. But when I venture into older systems, like the SNES, the NES, the N64, GameCube, I'm going to have to adjust things, and then it's going to be like relearning it all over again, so stay tuned for those exciting adventures. Figuring out what to do in general is the internal struggle. It really is. And it feels like so much time. I hate this feeling that, and I think all of us artists now kind of have this, and social media has destroyed us. We feel this obligation to constantly be making. And if you're not making at any given moment, then it's like you don't exist. Or it's like you're a failure. Like, you have to be doing something. And you have to be on, and you have to be pleasing people at all times. Which is why, you know, so many animators, people who used to animate all the time, turn to doing this kind of stuff. Because, again, this is something that you can kind of crank out, and then in the meantime work on your animation for however many months and put that out, which is a shame, because you know, YouTube obviously, but just social media in general, the way it is designed to reward those who are constantly on, does not work well for all, artists. And it's put me, personally, in this spot of... I don't know what it is about it that I get in, like, this purgatory loop of feeling like I must create, and then not being able to create because I feel obligated to create. It's like, remember when drawing used to be fun? Wow. Right next to the tomato. And I think that screws up getting the heart star for me. Can I just... Oh, I can just leave. Okay. We'll just start over. Yeah, it's rough. I feel like I've wasted all this time by not making... Because it's not enough even to just say, here's a drawing, here's a sketch. It's like you have to come up with something more meaningful, and it's like... It just has to constantly be more and more and more until you just exhaust yourself. Which I think is what happened to me. And then that made me not want to do... made me not want to create at all. I do the opposite of what I know I should be doing all the time. Exactly. That's what I do. When I know I have to do something, I don't fucking do it. I have to, like, force it to, what's in here? Oh. I have to force myself to do many things. It's not even like I don't want to. It's just like now this has become an obligation, so it is immediately no longer fun. Not in truth, but that's the way my brain seems to interpret it. Can I get the... Thank you. I was so, you know, overly ambitious early on, where I was like, I'm gonna make a cartoon every week. And for a while, I did. I made a cartoon every week. An animated cartoon. I mean, animated, that's debatable. I made a thing that existed once a week for a few weeks. And then I realized how impractical it was. And the time between episodes began to be more and more each time. Because I also was wanting to do more and more with the stuff as well. And then it just got to be so exhausting that it just kind of petered out. As did just, like, my interest in general. And it's been a constant struggle to get myself in the mindset of just, you know, create something small. Just make something small and have it be that. I always want to do more than I should. Or do more than is necessary. Or go overboard, or, you know. I flew too close to the sun. And my wings... They didn't even melt. They just fucking... were obliterated. I would love to get back to it, though. I really would. But it's like, I feel like I lost almost the entirety of the audience that I had. Which is not to imply that there was much of one, but there is now less of one. So even with this has been a struggle of building up interest and trying to... a combination of building up interest and also finding people who are interested. It's like maybe I gotta cut the losses with certain people who are just not going to care. And then try to find a way to open up to a new audience. But, boy, I have no fucking clue how to do that. If anyone knows how to build an audience, how to promote yourself, how to how to appeal to people. If you know, if anybody has uncovered that secret, please let me know. Please email me at this webzone. www.niko.com/email/.ww TV. The fuck was I talking about? I like to leave the animal friends here with their other friend. I think it's a nice thing to do. I think that's Pitch and his dad, maybe. I don't know. There's probably official lore for all those, like, friend of the friend characters, but I don't know it. What do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do for a living? Me? Just... the goal still, I guess. I mean, I question it all the time, but I question my interest in it all the time. Like, is this truly what I want to do? But it always does come back to animation for me. I would like to be making a show, an animated show on some level, and I don't even mean... I don't think I need anybody here. I don't even mean, like... Yes, the ultimate goal would be to have, like, a show, a professionally produced show, and be, like, the showrunner, creator, director, whatever. Everything. Stressful? Yes. Would I like that? Yes, I would very much. I think that's, like, the ultimate goal. But... as far as, you know, more realistically, I would like to go back to creating a show just on my own, like I was doing now a decade ago. I would like to do that. The chat's not that... yeah, the chat is not that delayed. It's just that I took a while to get to that question. I apologize. I was too busy zoning in on Kirby and doing that weird web address bit that didn't really work out. So I'm like a little bit behind on the chat. I don't know what the actual latency is. I don't think it's that much, but I try to draw inspiration from one-hit wonder bands who don't have nearly as many fans as they had in the 90s, but still happily produce more albums while playing that one song every day at concerts. Yeah, it's like... that's a good analogy. You gotta appeal to the people who have stuck around for the one thing that they came for in the first place, but also be content in making your own new stuff, whether people care or not. But it is... I feel like every stream that so far has gotten to the point where we discuss viewer numbers and stuff like that, and I don't want it to get to that every time and like harp on it every time, but it is yes, it is disheartening to do something or make something and have only like a small handful of people even give a shit, and like you can keep promoting it, you can keep tweeting about it, you can keep posting about it, and it just doesn't take. And that seems to be happening with this. And the cure, everyone says, the cure to that is, everyone says, just make more. Just keep doing it, make more, and the people will come. I don't know if I believe that. I think that to an extent, yes. You will draw in some people, and you will draw in many people, but a small fraction of them will actually want to stay, I think. And then the issue is building up that small fraction of people who do care. Which is always extremely appreciated for me to see these people who are like constantly in my Twitter mentions or like constantly liking my posts. Like, I may not be following you, which is not... I don't want to follow that many people, so it's not like I have... If I don't follow you, it's not like I have an aversion to you. I see you. I see your icon. I know your name. If you're there a lot, like if you're liking like all my tweets and like responding to a lot of my tweets, I do see you. And I don't want you to think that it goes unappreciated. So, to anyone who that applies to. Because some of those people, I think, are, you know, more loyal than the people who I do actually follow. Which just... That sounded really dickish. That's not how I meant it to sound. Loyal. That was a poor choice of words. But there are people who I don't interact with as regularly, who I end up seeing much more often, is what I mean. And they may be the ones who are showing more interest in what I do than some of my friends, but take that not as like some kind of underhanded comment. If you're not interested, you're not interested. I'm not gonna force you to do anything. I appreciate any and all interaction with any of my shit, so... Apologies, I'm reading chat because I got zoned in on a conversation again. I think if you are having fun doing it, then keep going. That's the mantra I try to follow. It gets hard. I mean, that is what you gotta keep looking to, and it's like, do I enjoy this? Don't do it if you don't enjoy it. Because then you're just hurting yourself. If you enjoy it and then only like a few people care, then at least you enjoy it. So, yeah, don't go, like, out of your way to do something just because that may be a popular thing and that may get you the attention. Because then you're going to have the attention and you're going to be miserable. Sam, you're here. Hi. You made it. Thank you. Not all streamers can be big, but if you enjoy it, then do it. It's all about being happy and doing what you do. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have enjoyed this. I enjoy this a lot, and I think, I'm not one to ever toot my own horn, but I think I'm doing a little better at it than I expected. Maybe the people watching have a different opinion, but... I think as far as me being able to play a video game and talk for a couple hours and have it recorded and then post it, I think I've been successful in checking those boxes. I hope SNES Online becomes a thing. Online Kirby 3 with GUI would be super. Yeah, if the online actually fucking worked. Have you tried playing the NES Online with somebody who's not within 6 feet of you? It's pathetic. I mean, yes, I would love SNES Online, and let me get that fucking Yoshi's Island on the Switch, please. Let me get this on the Switch, please. The SNES has such a robust library compared to the NES, which they've already pretty much exhausted that library. Unless they're gonna put Mother 1 on there, then they're pretty much done. But SNES has so much more to offer. I don't know why they I mean, I know why. They want to have this subscription service. They want to peddle that. And that's why they're not doing regular Virtual Console. But I would just prefer the Virtual Console. I don't want to pay for shitty online and some games that I don't even want. I don't need... Like, it was a cool novelty to have, like, Super Mario Brothers and, like, Kirby's Adventure and Zelda 2 and Zelda 1 on the Switch. But I don't need it. But when you get into, like, some later consoles, would I want those games on the Switch? Would I want some of these previously console-only games to now be handheld? Hell yes, I would love that. But I don't foresee that happening anytime soon, unfortunately. Signs do keep pointing to SNES coming to the Switch. Obviously, a while back, there was, like, the data mine of, like, 20 games within the Switch. Which turned out to really not mean anything, I think. But I think that has some indication of what we could expect from it. But now, more recently, we're seeing... What was it? Like a patent for a Switch Super Nintendo controller? Which, that makes a little more... That gives the rumor a little more fuel. And I think it would be... I really expected to see that at E3. I'm kind of baffled we didn't. Nintendo listens. Whether they show it or not, is another thing. But I do think Nintendo very much has their hand on... They have their finger on the pulse of what people want. It's just a matter of, do they feel like doing it, and can they do it? I apologize you have to listen to me take a drink between every level. Forgot you're supposed to smash the flowers. Yeah, that one, I loved figuring these out as a kid with, like, no internet and no strategy guide. It's like, what the fuck do you do to complete these levels? Yeah, you gotta smash like, you see the flowers in the first world, and it's like, oh, I gotta not smash them to please the big flower at the end. Now this one, you got flowers and mushrooms, and it's like, well, I gotta please the mushroom at the end, so I gotta step on the flowers. I think Nico mentioned before that he isn't doing this to become a big-name streamer, but to create a place to chill out and have fun. Exactly, yeah. I don't... Look, I wouldn't mind being, like, a famous streamer. I wouldn't mind being a famous anything. But, it's not what I'm setting out to do. I would like to cultivate, like, a small audience of just, like, friends to just talk and like hang out with and play games. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I can't help but thinking, why do it if, nobody's going to see it? For anything, not just for this. For art, for music, for anything you want to... Excuse me. Anything you want to create. It can get really discouraging. Because the internet has kind of... I think, at least for me, it has turned me into... I no longer create for myself. Which is not a good thing. And even though I'm conscious of that, I can't help feeling like everything I do must be for an audience. And if there is no audience, then why should it exist? Now, I can go ahead and tell other... I can give the advice to other people to not think that way. I can give people advice on a lot of things that I won't take myself. That I will turn around and do exactly what I just told somebody not to do. But, I will say it anyway. You should create, first and foremost, for yourself. It's not a bad thing to create for an audience, but don't let that get in the way of enjoying it and being the reason that you do it, or you'll end up like me. Oh, that was death number 1? I didn't die that whole time? I feel like in games with a health bar, as opposed to like Mario where it's just hits based on how powered up you are, so, and you usually only get like up to 3, I guess. In games like this or like Mega Man, I am very damage absorbent in that I will just bump into enemies if it's more convenient and I can afford to. But if I don't pay close enough attention, then my life bar starts getting low, and then that kind of stuff does happen. Weird system that they went with 10 hits in this game, where all the previous Kirby games that had a set number of hits were all 6, and so was Kirby 64. And if you bring Gooey into the equation, he takes some of your health. Then you only have 8 each. But you can always do that. Gooey is expendable. Also, I'm stepping on tiny little baby Gooeys. I've just eaten Gooey, and now I am murdering his children. Kirby, you are a fucking monster. But damn is that, if that is not satisfying to do. I love little pointless things like this in video games that add absolutely nothing to the gameplay, but are just like a fun thing. Like, they didn't have to go out of their way to program that, but they did. And it was cute and it was funny. When they put up the Kid Icarus special, I was like, oh cool, I never have to play this again now. I played through the entirety of Kid Icarus when that came out on the Switch, in the NES library, just because I hadn't played it in so long. once that game gets going, it's good. I mean, again, it's an NES game, so like the ceiling for good is not very high. But I like it well enough. If you've ever tried the Game Boy game, Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters, it is basically the same game with new levels and better mechanics. Like, it just works better. I would recommend that. Maybe that's something I'll stream on, like, when I get to, like, the Super Game Boy or Game Boy player. Maybe I'll do that sometime, because why the hell not? I actually have that for some reason. I bought it secondhand, and it is a very dirty cartridge. Dirty in it's like stained, not dirty as in it's like got scum all over it, like some secondhand video game things you do. I don't understand how you go into some of these like video game stores, like these independent video game stores that sell all the secondhand games and whatnot, and systems and controllers and everything, and some of that stuff is fucking filthy. What do people do with their games and equipment that they let it get that bad? I mean, I'm not a saint, but I've never let an expensive piece of electronic equipment get banged up and covered with like goo. There was like back when I was on Facebook, I had followed a page of like one of my local independent video game stores, and they posted one time like a meme that somebody had made of it was like a picture of a GameCube controller, and somebody was taking a toothpick through like the little ridges where the plastic meets, and just like scraping this gunk out of the controller from like sweat and dirt over the years. And this Facebook page of my local game store that I follow posted that meme and said something like, "We see you. Don't think we have to do this. Don't think we don't have to do this every fucking time somebody exchanges in old equipment." And I had a friend who actually worked at a store like that, and the stuff he would get in, he would show me, like, I would just go and hang out while he was working sometimes, and he would show me like the trade-ins and stuff that they got, and discs like scratched and covered in like a thin film of I don't know what. Like, where are these fluids coming from? I do understand the controllers. The controllers get dirty because obviously you're handling them a lot and your hands sweat, but I could never bring such a filthy thing into a place of business and just like throw it down on the counter and be like, "Yeah, can I have some money for this?" Like, I could not. Oh shit, I gotta pay attention. I would be too embarrassed to have that seen in that condition, but some people just don't care. Might have borked this one. I think it was still 7. Nope, I should have gone with... No, it is 7. Cool. Yeah, now the mini games are starting to get these Gordo mini games that you have to play are getting a little bit harder. Requiring a little more attention and memory usage that my brain does not have. On the next one, I may just fucking save state, since I can, just for the sake of moving the stream along and not having to redo it. Oh, hi, fake Kirby. I'm not Kirby. I'm my own original character. I think his name is like... I think his name is Batan, or... It's something very close to Batman, that character is named. What's his story? Who's this bastardized Kirby? Who only exists in this game? Batamon. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's it. I used to know, like, all the names just from playing this game so much and seeing, like, the end credits. Kid Icarus was great when I was a kid, then years later looking it up on GameFAQs and figuring out how all the mechanics worked added a lot of layers to it. It was a pretty, like, intricate game for the time. It is obviously, I believe, the same team who did Metroid, but I feel like it's a far more accessible game than Metroid, while still being kind of like, cryptic's not the right word, but I don't know. I just get kind of the same feeling from the two games, and I guess it's because it was developed by some of the same people, or all of the same people. It feels like they had this batch of ideas, and some went into Metroid, and some went into Kid Icarus. This is horrifying, by the way. I mean, between Nago's face being what it is already, and just... Kirby just kind of, like, breaking apart. I don't know, the way that's drawn is very disturbing to me. And Nago seems to feel the same way. Oh god, what have I done? Nago is British, apparently. Oh gosh, I forget the order for this. I think it's up, down, center. Nope, it was down, up, center. I shouldn't be seeing a door yet. We're gonna have to... let me make sure this is wrong first. If it is, then I'll just exit the level. Like I did before. Because there's no sense in, like, completing the level and then having to go back to it on the... for stream's sake. Yeah, I fucked up. I should be in the middle. There. Yeah, these are some of the games that are like, I again, know them well enough to just kind of turn off my brain and play. But not to the point where I remember every little detail of what to do and when. So for certain things like that, where it's like, oh, you just have to know what path to take, I never remember. So, since I have people to ask regarding the animal friends in this game, in the Kirby series, how has it ever been officially established by some means? How do you pronounce the fish's name? Obviously, I grew up saying just Kine, but as I got older, I thought maybe it's supposed to be like Kine. But I'm not sure. Maybe it's something else entirely. The job in this level is pretty bullshit. Yeah, it's just... like, obviously, if you've never played this game before, it's just guess. And if you're wrong, go back and guess again. But, yeah, I believe this is correct. If it is, I will fight... yes. Because now I'm fighting a broom. In what other game series would you ever fight a broom? Actually, don't answer that because I can already think of a few. It's pronounced quinoa. Okay. Well, I was way off. It's pronounced as it looks. Kind. So, oh, it is kind. Okay. Yeah, I figured, like, as I got older and consumed more Japanese media, not to say that I know, like, dick about Japan and their language, but I thought after a while, that there was a possibility that maybe it would be pronounced Kine. And on that note, I'm pretty sure, well, I'm pretty sure the cat here is pronounced Nago. But as a kid, we always said Najo. But that is most likely wrong. Nago sounds a lot better. I downloaded Duolingo like 4 months ago and have yet to open it. I get very intimidated by starting things. I asked my brother's using it to learn, I believe he's learning Swedish. I downloaded it, excuse me, I downloaded it to learn Japanese. Because I'm a nerd. And haha, nerds like Japan. But, no, I really would like to, A, learn another language. I'm not sure my brain has the capacity for it, but I would like to try. I'm very jealous of bilingual, multilingual people. I think that's amazing. But I'm very unsure if I could handle it. But I would like to try, and I do think Japanese would be the most beneficial to me, just because, yes, I am a nerd, and I consume many pieces of media from Japan. Not because they're from Japan, but because they're things I like and they happen to be made there. So there is a reason in some spots for me to want to learn it, whether it be, you know, watching. Pardon me while I just die. Oh boy. Whether it be, you know, watching something that's in Japanese, or reading. Obviously, what other fucking options are there? What am I talking about? No, I think there's like a lot of things between video games and animation. I think there is a decent enough reason for me to want to learn some Japanese. I don't think this is gonna... Yeah. Oh no, I missed 3 lives. What am I ever gonna do? But, yeah, I downloaded Duolingo and just never opened it. Because I'm so afraid to do something that I may enjoy. I can't fucking figure that out. You know, you can explain some parts of depression to me, but I can't figure out why I will purposely not do things that I know I will enjoy, because I'm, like, afraid to enjoy it. It's the same characters as Kain from Final Fantasy IV. I'm pronouncing his name wrong for years. Kain's name is just pronounced like Kane in the DS version. Huh. Not that I don't know anything about Final Fantasy for that to really make sense to me, but I find it interesting that they changed it. That's depression. Yep. Depression is just... You know, they would have you think depression is just sadness. Depression is just not fucking knowing how you feel. Or how to feel. All the time. And I guess that goes back, you know, like we were talking about the creative stuff earlier. Obviously that has a huge effect on it, and it's like I will purposely not do things once they become an obligation. And I think there's like some, you know, the reasoning for that, there's like some depression rooted in that as well. In the sense that it's like, this is something that I could do, and upon completion it would make me happy. But I won't do it, because I might feel joy, and I don't know how to process that. And I think it's also a little bit of, you know, for me, I am a horrible perfectionist to a major fault. And so the thinking is also kind of like, well, if I don't do it, then I can't fail. Naturally, it would be the Kirby stream that we start getting into, like, existential depression, creative, lack of creativity, all that kind of talk on this super cute, happy game. Is that technically a form of executive dysfunction? I don't know. I'm not one to ask about that stuff. I should find out for my own sake, but I don't know enough to say anything in any detail about any of this kind of stuff. I'm going to put them closer together. They are girlfriends. Do not tell me otherwise. I left and they are kissing right now. I thought that was her mom or something. I had... there might be... I said earlier... there might be some actual lore to those characters. But, you know, as a kid, I always made up my own. Like, the one you do for Pitch, the large pink version of Pitch, I always thought was, like, his dad. The one for Kine, I always said was his wife. I forget, I know Ku is one of them. The only one that gets left out is, oh no, Ku is the one who gets left out. That's why I can't fucking remember, because it doesn't exist. Rick has one. There's a level in each world where you have to bring an animal friend to the end because it will make one of their friends happy. But there are 6 animal friends and only 5 worlds. Well, 5 main worlds. So Ku does not have like a counterpart that you take him to. But all the other characters do. By the way, we're putting together Rob in this level. The tasks in this game feature a few cameos. I forget if we've already we may have passed 1 or 2 even. Samus is later on. There's a level where you have to freeze some Metroids. A reference I did not get as a kid because I had not played Metroid at the time, but once I had gone back later and actually played Metroid, it was like, oh, I see what's going on. This one is all about trying to fucking remember what rooms are what, and what you need what you need for each room. But I've chosen correctly here. I know there's another one you need him for, but I think you need umbrella as well, or parasol, rather. Excuse me. This is not it. It's on the other side. I was having issues earlier with, hold on, I'm trying to figure out what ability I need. I think it's stone. I'm a stone, Luigi! You didn't make it! I was having issues with, the fingerprint ID on my phone. I hope this is not a gross thing to talk about. I chew the crap out of my nails, my fingernails, and have always done so. So there's your warning if you want to get out now. That's what we're going to talk about for a moment. I have been a nail biter my entire existence. And I think, you know, 30 years into that existence, there's no hope of stopping. But, it's partially a nervous tick, because I do find myself doing it more when I am nervous, which is a lot. I am nervous 90% of the time. But even when I'm calm, I will sometimes catch myself doing it. And it's such a common behavior for me now that it just happens without me even realizing it. But anyway, I chewed the crap out of my thumb like several weeks ago, to the point where it like hurt. Like I chewed on the skin. Again, I apologize, but I chewed it so badly that I couldn't use the fingerprint ID on my phone for a while to get in. So I had to keep putting in my passcode to unlock it. And I was like waiting for it to heal. And, you know, weeks went by and shit. Fingerprint ID was like still just not happening. I fucked it up. And I think I permanently altered my fingerprint. And I had to go in and just set up a new fingerprint ID on my phone. So let that be a lesson to you kids. Don't end up like me, 30 years old and can't keep his damn fingers out of his mouth. And I try to... I mean, I've, like, resigned to the fact that, that's just me. But I am self-conscious of it sometimes. Like, if I'm taking a photo of something and I'm, like, holding it to take a photo, I'm like, oh shit, you can see my shitty fingernails in this. And they're, like, all jaggedy and fucked up, and I don't want people to have to look at that. I should go get a manicure and just have them put fake nails on me. Nails that I couldn't, you know, possibly chew because I would still be attempting it. God knows. I don't know. I've never bothered to look up if there is any good way to try and train yourself to stop doing that shit. But, like I said, that's a 30-year-old thing now. It's gonna be real fucking hard to stop. It's Rob and Professor Gyromite. I forget his name. Dr. Wily. Never mind. I stopped biting my nails and now I get beautiful long nails except on one finger where it's chipped and peeling. Is it like that, like, permanent? Did you cause, like, permanent damage? Because I'm wondering, like, if I even did ever attempt successfully to let my nails actually grow to a normal human length, if they would even look right or grow incorrectly, if I've just, like, fucked them up permanently. Dr. Wily. We don't know who he is, or where he came from. But we must recover all the energy resources immediately, Mega Man. Are there any other terrible voices you would like me to do? Put a request in chat. This started happening recently, weirdly enough, because I was trying to buff something out of that nail. Oh, so it wasn't, like, due to the years of biting them. I think that gives it character. I think it would be cool, like, if I had normal fucking nails, I think it would be cool to have, like, not cool, but, like, if one was, like, kind of weird, I wouldn't mind. I would be like, that's the weird one, and it's okay. Instead, though, they're all weird ones. Really gross looking. I'm looking at them right now. I always think back to, there was a Rocco episode, Rocco's Modern Life, about that, I think, where they tried to get Rocco to stop biting his nails, and, like, of course, watching that as a kid, and, like, my parents would see it as well, and kind of, like, compare me to that. Well, look, you bite your nails like Rocco does. Why don't you stop biting your nails? So maybe I did it out of rebellion.
I wonder why it's these guys who appeared and not no, Lo 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 and La La La.
Yeah. Because they are essentially the same. Maybe they wanted, like, an original version of the same thing, but not based on a previous HAL IP. Have Lo 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 and La 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 appeared in the series since these guys started appearing? I don't even remember. I mean, like, obviously they were in, like, Kirby Superstar Ultra, because it was a remake of the game that they were in, but I don't think... Have they really been in any Kirby game? Maybe they're in, like, one of the more, like, spin-off ones, but I don't think they ever reappeared as, like, a boss, like... Run, phony Kirby.
Blowout Blast?
Which one was Blowout Blast? Was that... I can't... Was that, like, the 3D one that was, like, spun off from one of the mini-games in one of the 3DS games? There was a point, like, up until they started making some of those little spin-off ones for the 3DS, there was a point where I did own every Kirby game, save for, you know, the ones that were only released in Japan, like Super Star Stacker, which I believe just recently got a fan translation, and I would like to try at some point. And also there were, like, some Satellaview Kirby games, I believe. But for a while, I did own, like, every possible Kirby game, and then they kind of started coming out with some weird ones that I was like, I don't have the funds to be... I gotta pick and choose which games I go with, and I can't just be buying every game that Kirby is in anymore. Just because he's in it. Star Stacker, yeah, Star Stacker was a good game. I have a lot of memories of playing various, like, non-core Kirby games, but, like, puzzle Kirby games. Like that, like Star Stacker and, like Kirby's Block Ball. I have, like, vivid memories of playing those in the summertime on my deck when I was a kid. Because, like, Nico, how did you spend your summer? Oh, I played video games, except I did it outside. Is literally what I did. It's not all of what I did. I was not, you know, opposed to physical activity. I do miss the days where I would just, you know, fucking run around in my yard with no purpose and got enjoyment out of it. Got real close to squashing that one. I didn't, you know, I was not like a shut-in, despite the vibe I may give off. I did enjoy being outside as a kid. I do enjoy being out now. I don't like sports. I'm not opposed to, like, going for a walk in a park. I like going to, you know, different places. I wouldn't even know what to call them. Like, a nature reserve type place or, like, a hiking trail. I wouldn't mind, you know, doing stuff like that still. I just never fucking do it. I never do anything anymore.
Star Stacker was my shit when I'd come to my dad's shop when school let out.
God, that's another memory. Having to go to, like, my parents' work. Like, when we were too young to, like, stay home alone. And it wasn't practical enough to have, like, someone watch us. So we would just have to go to work. And, my dad, for the entirety of his working life, he's retired now. He worked for the same company for 42 years. It's time to give Pitch a turn. And he worked for this, a company that, excuse me, sells construction products, namely screws. And, by the time, you know, I came along, he was the branch manager. And it was a very small kind of thing. This wasn't like a big corporate office. It was such like a casual job, and my dad was so lenient as the branch manager. And as a result, like, my brother and I could just go to work with them, and it was like no big deal. It wasn't breaking any company rules or anything. Because it was like it did grow. The branch did grow as time went on, as I got older, and they moved offices several times, employed more people. But overall, I mean, like, I think the most people ever working was maybe like 10. So it was always very chill, and like we knew the other employees on a personal level. And then I started working there part-time when I was old enough. But then he retired, so I don't have that job anymore. But it was, I'm thankful in that it was, like, it was a job, but it wasn't a job that I was going into blindly. Like, I knew what it was, and I knew the people, and also my fucking dad worked there, so it was less stressful than getting just, like, you know, go work at the supermarket or something. I've thankfully not had to work retail in any capacity. Which I have, like, horrible social anxiety and would not be good for such a position anyway. But we've all read the horror stories of poor people having to work these shitty jobs where they deal with the general public and do not get paid nearly enough to deal with said general public. Can we just, like, be nice to people? I mean, like, in general, first of all. But can we just, like, not take out our anger on random strangers working a job who already have it hard enough by having to work said job? Like, what if we just didn't do that? This is one where I think I'm going to cheat for the minigame and use save states or something, because this one is kind of hard to... You'll see in a moment. If you're not familiar, or if you don't remember, the minigame is that you get shown like 16 Gordos of varying colors, and you are then asked how many were there of a certain color. Problem being, you have to know, you don't know what color you're going to be asked about, so if you did not make note of that color, then you're kind of screwed. And this level had to be done many a time over many playthroughs due to just failing that minigame. Just redoing the level over and over. Also, I looked over at chat and I read Star Stacker as Sticker Star. And I will not go into the discourse of that game tonight, but that was a thing I thought I saw for a moment. Alright, here we go. I don't know how this is going to help me. Exactly. Well, I guess I can look at that and count. 3 blue, 3 yellow, 5 red. Okay. Three. I did it. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 blue, 3 red, 2 yellow. Are you... Does this nullify my speedrun? Is the video game referee gonna kick down my door and put me in a chokehold? Six blue, 4 red, 2 yellow. Wow, it's like I have a photographic memory. I'm a genius. No, but that minigame is not worth doing the level multiple times over. Especially on stream, because I am now wondering... I didn't think this was going to be a full playthrough in one night. But yet again, we've gotten to the point where if I stop now, it's going to be very lopsided. So I might just do the whole thing. I mean, why the hell not? We've been going a little over 2 hours already. Maybe it'll take one more hour? I don't know. So when Kirby tries to copy himself, you get nothing. Or his doppelganger, or whatever. Sakurai, please address the official lore regarding that fake Kirby. I love that little egg dude with the skull, who wears the skull. I don't know why I'm calling him an egg dude. I guess he's kind of shaped like one. I love this guy. They even brought him back a few times. And I think in Kirby 64, they didn't even give him a new graphic. I think they used the sprite from this game. Even though it was a 3D game, they just used the 2D sprite. Oh, I apologize. You're still... I know I addressed this before, but I'm sure you're still hearing my button presses getting picked up in the mic, unfortunately. Partially because the Wii U gamepad is a pretty noisy controller. But also, I think it would get picked up on the mic the way I'm set up anyway. I need to just get, at some point, a better mic with more filtering. Or noise cancellation or something, I don't know. Because I still leave the fan on as well, unfortunately. I just kind of have to. Or I'll die. So there's like the constant hissing of that in the background as well. I just bought a pop filter off Amazon. I might just need to, I mean, get that in addition to a new mic. Unless there's a mic that, like, comes with it or something. I don't know. I'll have to ask around and see what various mics people use. oranges. Okay, this is not a good ability to have here. How many deaths is that now? Do we have an official counter?
If your mic is the same as mine, Blue Snowball, yes it is. I think the pop filter works well.
Maybe I'll just do that then. If it's cheap enough, then, you know, try that first, I guess is the more frugal option. And then if not, go the new microphone route. It's not a bad microphone. It's not a great microphone, as I was led to believe. By its price. I mean, I don't know, like, are there various versions of the Blue Snowball? Or, like, do they keep making new ones or stuff? Or is the Blue Snowball just, like, one thing? Because then I may not have the exact same mic as you. It's way better than the mics I used to use, back in the day when I was making cartoons, and then, like, very crusty audio on those. They were just like those, it was just like a stick that connected to, like, it had like a headphone jack type, connection. Obviously Blue Snowball is USB, which is much better. And much easier, too. I don't think it is a good idea to keep going with this little health. Because I will lose Rick, and I need him. That's called strategy. So yeah, the point of this level is that, well, you have to bring Rick to the end, but you can't fly as Rick. But you can do this little wall climb, and you can jump on enemies. So you have to make use of those abilities to get to the end with him. So I'm putting those Mario skills to good use. I remember that level being a lot longer and a lot harder. Now kiss.
There's just one snowball, then other mics by Blue like the Yeti. Oh, that's right, which I think most people use now.
Huh. I forgot, yeah. I have heard of that. I mean, I see people with, like, these, like, radio studio-ass looking microphones. And I don't know if it's necessary to get one that, good, or, like, expensive, or professional, when this is clearly not, an operation of professionalism on any level.
Boom arm on her mic.
That's another thing to consider. I would like to know how Vinny gets away with a fucking headset mic. Obviously, headset mics must have vastly improved since I last used one. Not that I really need the headset portion, but I'm just kind of curious.
I got a Yeti though, honestly, it's not that huge a step above a snowball. Got slightly better outside noise control, basically. That's about all I need, really.
I don't need... I mean, if I got anything better than that, then that would be, like, the most professional-looking part of this entire setup. I literally... This is just... It's a laptop with a blue snowball on one of those fold-up TV dinner tables from the 70s. Next to my bed, in front of my TV, at the edge of my bed, in front of my TV, wires strewn all about. I don't have an epic gamer setup, like the kind you see on Instagram, where it's just an entire wall of NES games and a gigantic TV with fucking LED underglow. And somehow they got, like, a statue of Mario that was only 2 were made, and it's signed by Miyamoto. And then they're just like, yeah, I'm just chilling in my gamer room. No biggie. And it's got like 20,000 likes. I'm not salty, why do you ask? Why would that incredibly specific scenario indicate that I am jealous of something? So, do we know, are Addo and Adeline confirmed to be two different people, or not? Because I would like to think that Adeline is trans. Between, you know, going from this game to Kirby 64. I mean, we got some trans flag colors going on right here. A little bit. Kirby said trans rights. And if that upsets you, get the fuck out of my stream. What do you think Poyo means? Kirby literally says nothing other than trans rights all the time. Did you know gaming? Kirby trans. Mr. Shine and Mr. Banana.
My gamer setup is a PS2 that isn't hooked up. That's basically the pedestal for our Switch.
The PS2 is still more useful than the Wii U.
Apparently no official confirmation was made if they're the same, but I mean obviously they are.
Good. I want that to be... Look, I don't have many headcanons for characters and shit, because I just kind of accept things as they are, and like, I don't... It's fine if you do that kind of stuff, but I never seem to do it. But if I can have one headcanon, it is that Addo and Adeline are the same person, because Adeline is trans. Now for the hard part. It's a metaphor for what it's like to actually be an artist. You create, and you create, and you create, and everything gets destroyed. And then finally, you get destroyed.
The book 20th Anniversary of Hoshi no Kabi Pupum Taizen, first released 2012, addresses the many similarities of the characters and suggests that Addo could be a nickname of Adeline, but ultimately states it is simply unknown if they are the same person or not.
Huh. They look decidedly different. Like when you see Addo at the end of this game, in like the artwork for the credits, he's like decidedly taller. He looks a little different, but you know, any of that could be chalked up to just, you know, design change or character development or whatever. Sometimes you redesign a character. But yeah, I was never big on, like, headcanons and, like, shipping, and, like, I never wrote any fan fiction. I don't know if that was, like, a staple of, teenhood for people my age to write fan fiction, but I never did. The closest... I need fire. The closest I did was like my self-insert Sprite comics. It's like, I kinda wrote fanfiction, I guess, but not just like straight up fanfiction like some people do. And I never really have headcanons about anything. I don't really go beyond what is more than what is presented to me officially in any given series or piece of media or whatever. If something's unanswered, I usually just don't question it and leave it unanswered. Because some people, like, really want to know the answer to everything in every series. And it's like, sometimes, A, there just isn't one, or B, it's coming along, and be patient. But I think some people get so attached to some of these ideas that they have, that I've seen people get mad at the creator of something that they enjoy because the actual product did not reflect what they arbitrarily decided in their head should happen. I don't understand that. I don't understand getting mad. Like, if you like a series so much, how do you not respect the creator's vision, and like get midway through a series and then say, nah, I'll take it from here, I know what's good, and then get mad when the creator doesn't do that because clearly they were reading your Tumblr this whole time and knew about it and just purposely decided to go against your wishes.
Only gay ships matter. The wiki I pulled that from used she, her pronouns for Addo the entire time.
Huh. Alright. I guess we are doing the whole game. it would be foolish to just stop now and say, like, part 2, sometime later, and have, like, a 30-minute stream of Kirby. I'm overestimating the length of a lot of these games, to be honest. Once these streams, you know, start going a little more, with more people paying attention, I'll start doing some more, you know, like long-form stuff, i.e. a Zelda game, an RPG. Something that would, you know, take many parts. It's a tomato. You're a real one if you get that one. Also, I'm going to have to plug in my controller in a second, because that is a red light. Metroids gain nothing when they try to suck from Kirby. There is no life force to be gained from Kirby. Because Kirby is beyond life. He's immortal. Guess what? I just developed another headcanon.
Kirby and Metroid officially in the same universe.
The Kirby cinematic universe extends far and wide. Because, as we know, Smash Brothers is centered in the Kirby universe. No, I believe Smash Brothers is not supposed to be taken as canon. Bye, Samus. Sorry they didn't animate you.
Play a Final Fantasy.
If I were to play a Final Fantasy, excuse me 1 second. Well, I'm gonna grab the charger for this real quick. But if I were to play a Final Fantasy, what fucking one should I play even? I have no idea like where to start with that series.
Good thing this wire is long enough. Five or four?
Are those, well, I mean, I get confused because I know, like, some are, number-wise, some are different in the West than they are in Japan.
6 is also good.
Are those all Super Nintendo ones? Kind of surprised 7 was not said. I feel like that is like... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, based on my minimal knowledge of the series, but, is 7, like, the most popular Final Fantasy, and, like, the go-to for the series? Or, like, the poster child for the series, maybe? I don't really know how to describe it, but... Because I know for the most part, they're all entirely different casts of characters and stories and stuff. So one doesn't necessarily really connect with another, but... Again, I don't really know that well. I've been watching... Sorry, Koo. I've been watching, Vinny's playthrough of... 8? Shit, I don't even know which one he's fucking playing. I think 8. But I've been paying so, like, little attention that I have no idea what's going on. Like, I just kind of have it on for background noise. I know who Vivi is, and, like, that's it. Oh, and I guess Zidane. I'm learning a little bit, but... For the most part, it's like I go for large chunks of time only partially paying attention, and then I start paying attention and I have no idea who anyone is or what's happening.
Nine? Wait, Vinny's playing 9? Daniel and Zidane. Hard to say at this point, but 7 was the first Final Fantasy that sold well in the West. Ah!
Hmm. I hadn't even considered that. That's kind of interesting, especially since that was like... that was their first move to 3D, correct? For the series? I just like to watch you guys. Oh, hi, Zidane. You're like son to me. All just having fun. Zidane, play football. Didn't I say last time I didn't want to piggyback off of all of Vinny's stuff? Hey, what's this? Interesting. It's too good not to. Vinny is a very good, he's a very funny, he's a very good, performance. He's got great stage presence. And, he really makes the, oh, shit. I gotta... Thankfully it was the last one, because I was not paying attention. I might have to do save states here again. I'm doing here. Okay. Plus I have the volume down, like I said, so it doesn't pick up too much on the mic, but now I gotta actually listen. I didn't even need the save states.
Did you just have that on hand? I did because I had planned to use it for something else and then I didn't. And then I was like, oh hey, what's this? I can just like click on that, so. This one's not bad, but not being allowed to make a single mistake is mean.
Yeah, that's why you... Well, plus you have post-game. You don't truly get 100% in this game. Once you complete the game, you are presented with a boss rush and a mini-game rush. In which, obviously, you boss rush is defeat all the bosses with 1 life. And the minigame rush is you just have to play all 5 of those minigames without failing once. And that was very hard to do back in '97 on a Super Nintendo. And then after if you manage to complete those, you get a minigame based on why did I, like, go through that star? You get a minigame based on the long jump at the end of each level. And then, if you complete that, you get 100%. So most of my files for this game have just remained at 97. And I don't have a 100% file on this version, but I do, you know, on my original cartridge.
I can't get 100% because of the damn jump game.
I'm not that bad at it. It is hard. But I can kind of, like, pick out what frame it is that I need for something. Like, I'm going to try and go for the Maxim tomato. And there you go. It's easier, like, when it's, like, way at the end. But yeah, you have to do, like, a bunch of those in a row and land on, like, a smiley face and not, like, the bad face. And it progressively gets to be more and more bad faces until there's, like, only one smiley face and you have to make an exact jump. Honestly, like, that was, out of those 3 post-game mini-game things, that was the least amount of difficulty for me.
Then do it 4 times in a row.
Yeah, that's right. They make you do it, I think it was, like, to round out the total amount of times to, like, 10 or something. I haven't played it in a long time, so I don't remember. But, yeah, I do remember you have to do just the exact jump multiple times in a row. So there were many retries of that. This will definitely be the first time I've ever played the entirety of this game in one sitting. Again, that is not usually a thing I do, because I don't play games for too long at one time, even though I play way too much cumulatively. I don't go for very long at a time. And I am almost positive I have never played this all in one shot before. I always forget. Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to go further. I think you're actually supposed to go in this one. To get the right... I forget what my goal on... Oh, I'm looking for like a snail shell, I think, on this level. That's right, and you gotta switch between Choo-Choo and Coo. Because Choo-Choo can go up, and Coo can go down with the fire. And Pitch is just here to watch. He'd just like to watch. There it is.
It's good to take breaks.
It is. I mean, it depends on, like, the situation. I mean, like, when Mario Odyssey came out, I spent the entire day playing it. And played it all the way through. I think I broke for, like, to eat once. But other than that, I played the game straight through. But yeah, it's usually only on situations like that, like if it's a new game that I'm so excited for. Like when Link's Awakening comes to the Switch, I will probably spend large chunks of time with that when it's first out. Luigi's Mansion probably as well. Those, I don't know if I would stream those games. I'm unsure yet about streaming a game that is brand new. Because to me, I feel like streaming a game and just playing a game on your own are two totally different experiences. And I kind of feel like for some of these streamers who are like big and obligated to play these new games like as they release, I kind of feel bad for them because they don't get to just enjoy it on their own. They have to like play it while putting on a show. I could always do like for Link's Awakening, for instance. Since that's a remake, I could, you know, play it on my own and then start a second file to stream. We gotta go back and get Nago. Luigi's Mansion, maybe not. Like, that could be something I stream, like, a little later on, but not right out of the box. However... they finally announced Hat in Time for the Switch, which I'm pretty excited about. And I would more or less be going into that one blind because I did not see all of that game. I watched like highlights of Vinny playing it, and I watched my brother play some of it because he got it the initial like the Steam version. But I think that would be a good one to stream, and that would be like a good blind game to play. Because we haven't done that yet. Every game I've played so far is obviously one that I've played like several dozen times.
Oh wow, hi Austin. Holy freaking crap.
That's a blast from the past. How are you, man? How's it going? This level is just like a showcase of every enemy. And you gotta bring Nago to the end, and he's not even available in the level, as far as I'm aware. I've always done that, which is go back to the very first level, grab him because he's available really early on, and then you just gotta take him through the whole level. That was stupid.
The mission in this stage is a huge troll.
I mean, I thought for the longest time as a kid, like, there's gotta be a secret room with Nago in it, so you could bring him to the end. But I've always just done that, and I guess that's the way you're supposed to do it. Because even though he is necessary for this, you know, to get the heart star at the end of the stage, he's not actually in the stage. Didn't make it. I almost switched to one of the other characters for no, I don't know why. That would have been cute. There is like a reunion going on in chat right now, and I am so here for it. I'm like paying even less attention and just kind of like watching this unfold with bated breath. Fake-ass Mario fire bars. Also fake doors. Real fake doors. I know we said that Nago plus Clean was like the best ability earlier, but I don't think there's like anywhere for me to use it, so I just didn't bother getting it. Clean! You are going to suck his cock clean! No one even calls it the clean ability, they just call it broom ability. I was surprised that came back in Star Allies, though.
Nico, that's nasty.
I'm sorry, this is... Under normal circumstances, this is your pure Christian stream. I couldn't even get those words out properly. I mean, I apologize if anybody's virgin ears have been offended over the course of this, but... So the last stage was like, for the most part, every normal enemy, except for a couple that you are seeing in this stage. And then this stage is a mini-boss rush. We haven't even seen this guy. We don't know who he is. I'm just gonna keep doing it. I'm just gonna keep stealing Vinny's bits. You said the fuck word. You're right, I did say the fuck word. I fucking apologize. I remember one time playing this, and then this boss just kept doing this move over and over, and not giving me any way to attack. I usually, that's the other thing that, I was talking about way earlier in the stream. The differences between the Dreamland games and Kirby 64 versus all the other Kirby games. I find it easier in these games to not use abilities on the bosses and just use what they give you, whereas in pretty much every other Kirby game it's just like find an ability and wail on the boss till their health is gone. But yeah, this Dreamland 2, Dreamland 3, Kirby 64, again, I kind of consider all to be in like the same boat. And then the rest of the Kirby series is another thing entirely. And I kind of wish they would return to this style. Especially since now we've kind of had several Kirby games in a row that are very similar in terms of gameplay style. I mean, they do new things with them each time. But it's towing the line of New Super Mario Bros. Territory.
There is an Eggerlander in this game? What's the Eggerlander? I don't even... If I knew nothing about Japanese yokai, I would assume this dude was a callback to Mario Land 2. That's what I thought as a kid, yeah. And then, like, I got older and, like, you know, start reading stuff on the internet, and it's like,
Because I used to go on a lot of sites about, you know, all these games. Because what else was like 11-year-old Nico going to do online? Except I wasn't playing video games, so I was going to read about video games. But yeah, that's how like that got explained, and like the Tanuki got explained, all those kinds of things. Because you would never know from the games themselves. You would just think, oh, this is an original concept they came up with.
The blocky boss is an enemy from... That's right, he is in Lolo.
Wow. I totally didn't even, like, make that connection. And now I'm thinking back to, you know, because I didn't play Lolo, Adventures of Lolo that long ago, because of it being on the Switch. And it was just kind of like, well, I might as well play it. I even have the heart of that game. I don't even know why. I've never beaten it. I'm not that interested in it. I'm not good at those kinds of puzzle games.
Nico isn't playing a Mario game. This stream is broken. I've
only done one Mario stream so far. I've done 2 Donkey Kong games, which is like extended Mario. 2 Mega Man games. Now we're doing Kirby. And other than that, I've done, like... What did we determine? It was like 2/3 of Super Mario World. There will be... You know, fear not. There will be more Mario for sure. I'm just kind of waiting at this point and like deciding what I should stream when there's not that many people watching. Because there are some games I do want to save for when there's a bigger audience.
Good not to pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah, I know there's like a lot of streamers who, only stream like one thing. Well, first of all, none of the games I play could actually be streamed over and over and over and over that often. And second of all, I like too many different things. And yet, at the same time, my interest is also kind of narrow. I'm mostly centered in, you know, like, main Nintendo franchises. I mean, there's, you know, there's some stuff I'll branch out with, but we're gonna be seeing a decent amount of, aside from Mario, we're gonna be seeing Kirby, we're gonna be seeing Mega Man, we're gonna be seeing Donkey Kong, Zelda, possibly the Mother games, but not Mother 3. Even though I could. I could, you know, I have the ability to stream Mother 3, but I don't have the emotional ability to it, to stream it. And nobody is going to want to watch a stream with a 30-year-old man crying at a video game. Because make no mistake, I will lose it. I will... That game destroyed me.
Body horror DDD. I want 30-year-old man tears, please. No, you don't want that.
I can't imagine, like, getting to the end of that game and just being, like, inconsolably, like, crying in front of an audience. And, like, not being able to commentate because I can't, like, get a hold of myself. You must be so exhausted. Oh my god, that kills me. Like, I got choked up just reading that. Nothing, no piece of media of any form has ever made me as sad as Mother 3. Not even close. Should probably just take a death. I mean, would I like to stream the game? Absolutely. I just really don't think I could. I think it would be... It's a fantastic game. I think it would be great to stream. As would the others. Those are a bit more doable, though. Four deaths? Is that what we're at? I think it's more than 4. Because I did a couple purpose deaths. I think maybe it's like 6 deaths. This battle was fucking intense as a kid, and like, badass. Like when I finally figured out how to get the real ending and get to this boss. God, I wonder how many tries this like took me, because I remember being on this like a lot. Now it's like nothing. Yeah, more body horror, I guess, by the way. Why do the ends of Kirby games always get so fucked up?
GUI makes this fight easier.
Yeah, I remember, like, playing it with my brother. And, like, the first time we tried GUI on that final boss. And it's like, he looks the same as, like, Dark Matter with, like, the little orange orbs. That was, like, the original pause for lore. Or, like, deep Kirby lore. Hey, Project Kirby 3 staff. I remember trying to replicate Addo's drawings here as a kid. But, like, I had no way to, like, pause this screen, and I would, like, try to, like, draw these little doodles really fast, and I made, like, a whole book of them and brought it to school one day.
Why is Kirby always fighting cosmic eldritch horrors? Pretty much the only game he doesn't is the very first game. Like, Sakurai made this, like, really cute game, and then immediately in the sequel, he's like, no, I want to, like, this fucked up boss at the end. And then it just kind of kept getting progressively more fucked up. Where the heck is Mitri? We want Mitri. I'm gonna have to let my brother know he was being requested on stream. His presence was called for, but he's not here at the moment. I said earlier he's at like a meeting banquet thing for curling because they're getting a new curling rink. Or moving to a new one. They're working towards getting their own dedicated ice for curling, but right now they're just kind of using other ice rinks that, like public ice rinks that support curling. Satoru Iwata, we miss you. Friends. Ku has no friend. That's okay, I'll just cry in the corner. I know, fucking... How did we talk about Mother 3 and then get fucking blasted with remembering Iwata directly after? That's too much. I do get, you know... Because I'm still constantly playing, like, Nintendo games from over the years, so inevitably, when I play through a game, you know, from like the 2000s up until, you know, a few years ago, you always see executive producer Satoru Iwata, and it gets me every time. And plus in these games when he was taking on other roles as well. That is that's a death that I've not recovered from. I have not been more upset at a death of, you know, someone I didn't know. But yeah, that's the game. Game over. Did the whole thing. I think this is like the long. Is this the longest stream so far? We're at 320. Yeah, that's Kirby's Dream Land 3, everybody. Definitely still my favorite Kirby. I can still confidently say that, having just blasted through it again. Yeah, see, you gotta do these now if you want 100%, but Boss Butch. The fuck does that mean? Doesn't matter, we're not doing it. But yeah, there's Kirby 3. there is the stream as well. Kind of surprised we got that all in. Yeah. Don't know what's gonna be next. Obviously, we got to return to Super Mario World at some point, which may be coupled with something else. I don't know. I really want to stream. Like I said, I can't do anything with my Switch right now because one of my Joy-Cons is in limbo, waiting to be repaired somewhere. Problem is, I have a Joy-Con. I have a left Joy-Con that only works in handheld mode, so I can't, I can't play anything on stream on the Switch. I can play my Switch myself, but I can't stream anything. I would like to, I would have liked to stream Doom on there, like classic Doom eventually, now that that's on there. But that'll have to wait. I don't know. We'll see what else I can cook up. I keep saying I gotta find the GameCube so I gotta unearth the GameCube so I can use the Game Boy player. Because there's a good amount of those we could get some mileage with. But we'll see how it goes. This stream went, I think, well. Better than expected. I was kind of like getting nervous early on because I wasn't seeing like anybody showing up. And thank you guys for coming and chatting. And most of you have been here like the entire time. So thank you very much. As much as I lament about not having a lot of viewers, I am very thankful to have just like a small handful of viewers who are like constantly chatting. I thank you for that so much, really. Thank you. And for anybody else who just watched, and like, you don't feel obligated to come and chat and participate. If you just want to watch and chill, that's fine too. I appreciate it. But yeah. Just so you know, if you guys aren't aware, VODs do go up on YouTube, youtube.com/NikoandSD. They will likely be up around, I say they, it's only one this time. It will likely be up around noon tomorrow. If you missed anything and you want to go back, or I guess that's the only point to me saying this, because otherwise the person would be watching this on YouTube and would already know this information anyway. But yeah, alright. Thank you guys once more. I hope you have a great night. Have a great weekend if I don't stream over it. But otherwise, have a good night. Have a good time. I will see you again. Thanks for coming.